Thanks for joining us for Elko Live today. It's time to get caught up with Elko County Extension Service from right here in our community. Jill Baker-Tingey is joining us. And Jill, as always, an exciting lineup of things that we can look forward to, not only closing out this year, but in the new year ahead. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you so much for the work that you do. And we got to meet a lot of the partners from UNR Extension during a recent Elko Area Chamber a Business Before Hours event. And that was just such a beautiful day to get to see your offices and to meet so many fine people at work behind the scenes.
It was wonderful to meet the community and have people know a little bit more about what we do.
A lot of the work of the extension is in providing research, and we know how important that kind of information is, for groups moving forward, for, municipalities, for example. We know that Elko, Spring Creek, right now examining possibilities for a secondary access between the communities. I mean, that's where even some of this research can come into play, right, Jill?
That's right. One of the programs that we have is called the Nevada Economic Assessment Project. And with that, we've been doing work, and I say I've worked on a couple of the projects in a pretty minimal way compared to other staff in the state who've done a lot of work. And really the project is to look at what are statistics on a whole variety of things. So not only demographics of our county, but then to actually do real studies. So they were doing a study on what would be the feasibility of a bicycle route between like the California Trail Center and Lamoille Canyon, for example. So I think they're in the middle of working on that. A couple years ago, they published the hunting study. So how much money is generated during this time of year of people coming in who are not, local to the community and coming to hunt, and what kind of money does that bring into our community? So yeah, we have a lot of good information on that actually could maybe inform the work that's being done to figure out that access point. And certainly we have plenty of background information on the why, looking at wildfire and all we know and that we do in extension related to wildfire and natural resources as well. So yeah, we've got a lot of good information. If there's someone out there who wants to find out specifically what we have, they're certainly welcome to call the office, or they can go online to extension.unr.edu, and we have lots of those Nevada Economic Assessment Project publications there online. We have lots of publications on all of our program areas as well, but those would be really helpful for anyone who wants to attend those meetings or wants to understand some of the issues a little bit better.
And it's important to know that all this research is done independently, and so there's no, marketability involved, but it's available free of charge, and it's verifiable. These are credit, to the researchers. When I was at the Futures Forum in Winnemucca last month, a couple of researchers from UNR were there presenting in relationship to growth and economic sustainability of these communities, what's needed to provide affordable housing, for example. All really important questions.
Yeah, in fact, that's one of the things that they're working on here in Elko County is the housing study. And so we're really looking forward to when that data comes out to understand what is the issue with affordable housing and housing in general for families and as well as multi, apartment styles as well as single homes.
That was so nice to hear that, Jill. And even during the Northeastern Nevada Regional Hospital's dedication yesterday, right, for the new behavioral health unit, there are folks in the medical profession. That relationship is really important with the medical school, for example, at UNR and the work that Extension does.
Yeah, we have great wonderful opportunities to collaborate, and we do a lot of collaborating on projects. A couple of years ago, we were working on some children's immunization projects too. So yeah, we couldn't do our work without the School of Medicine, and I would say that in a lot of ways, when they're in our rural communities, they can't do it without us too, and we're grateful for that collaboration. And for those who haven't been to our office, we actually share the building. We're in Griswold Hall, which is a Great Basin College building. However, in the wing closest to 7th Street is our offices, not dorms, and where Extension is there, as well as School of Medicine and the area health office.
Very nice. That's where Gerald Ackerman and his
Yes,
staff. Yes,
yeah.
yeah. Thank you, Jill, for bringing us up to date, just reminding us of this important work that's done that we don't talk about a lot. It doesn't get a lot of, headlines these days, but it certainly is important work that goes on behind the scenes to inform decisions and also to guide resources. Sometimes we get funding as a result of this research.
That's right. Yeah. And really, when the Nevada Economic Assessment Project started, one of the whole purposes of it was to be more helpful to county government as they were writing grants, that they would have the data that they needed to be able to make the case for whatever it was that they were, the funding they were going after.
Thank you, Jill. Jill Tingey, of course, from our UNR Extension. And then there, as we talked about before, there are 6 different program areas. So we got to meet some of those folks while we were visiting in your office, but also these important partners throughout the state.
Yeah. And so a lot of times people don't really know that our 6 program areas are outlined in the Nevada Revised Statute. So by state law, we have extension in every county. And so we have 3 partners that we collaborate with that are our primary partners. And so in our county, it certainly is Elko County. And we couldn't do what we do in Extension without our county partners. And then our state partner would be the University of Nevada, Reno, our land-grant institution. And then our federal partner is the United States Department of Agriculture. And so when we look at funding with the federal government, we don't receive a lot of state funding from the federal government that we use every year. There's just a little bit. But when you compare that to other states, ours is pretty minimal. And that has to do a lot with agriculture specifically. However, we have equal access to the grants that USDA offers. And so that's the great opportunity, is that those are competitive grants, and so we all can put in those applications and have the opportunity, they're reviewed just like all grants are, but there's opportunities for additional funding. And so when we look at federal funding, it really comes through grants that we work on.
That just made me wonder, do you think that we utilize UNR Extension as much as we could? Because we know that right now there are a couple of huge considerations for Elko County in the Spring Creek Lamoille Valley, whether or not to accommodate, more subdivisions. There are water, road, wildlife conservation, just quality of life concerns. And then the latest with the proposed ski area, that's all coming up during a planning meeting that opens at 3:00 tomorrow afternoon, Jill. And this is where Extension can come in and provide some just facts that are unbiased.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and we can definitely, with time, make sure that we have those, those people who really have the background and knowledge about it to provide that information.
Yeah, compiling research takes time.
It does take some time, but that should be our role.
Yeah, that's important and good to note, because we heard during these public meetings, Jill, that some residents are concerned that Elko County master planning is maybe a little behind the times. I guess the plan was last updated in 2012. And again, that's where research can come into play.
Right. Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, we'll just remind them, hey, we have a true treasure right here in our community with UNR researchers. Sometimes you use graduate students, right?
We do. Yeah. Depending on, who is the lead author on it. Yeah. They may have grad students who are working with them, or if they have a grant where they're actually able to hire individuals to work on that project. When we look at our Nevada Economic Assessment Project, we have some really strong staff, and then a lot of times when they're working on a specific project, they may be able to hire more staff. We have an evaluation specialist, and she just did a huge project to help DCFS and the State Aging and Disability Services Division do an evaluation project. And with that project, I don't know how many people she hired who had, masters or PhDs to help with that evaluation, but it was very impressive as to all the things that they were doing to collect data and provide them information.
Yeah, the scale of these projects, because again, it goes into, the bulk of this research of which people are relying on to base these important decisions going into the future.
That's right.
Yeah, where to direct sometimes, millions of dollars.
That's right. Yeah.
So, fascinating. Thank you, Jill, for reminding us of the important work that's being done, and that it's work that you can trust. That's so important going into our climate today.
It is. we work really hard to make sure that we are serving the community, and with that we're providing information that people can trust, that it's not, there's not an underwriter by a specific company or just one stream or one opinion. We're really trying to look at all things, and especially when we're trying to do evaluation, and needs assessments especially, always trying to get as many people in the community to participate and as many voices. And then also looking at, where are those voices that are missing? Who is not at the table? And how do we get their thoughts and ideas and their needs represented as well? And it's hard work to do that, but it's so important to make sure that we're really looking at the whole community and not leaving out pockets of individuals or families or groups.
And industry can base their entire decisions on some of this information and research. I was speaking to an executive in the medical profession about their decision to enhance maternal health care in rural Nevada.
Yeah. There's such good things that some of our nutrition specialists have worked on related to maternal health care, and some great helpful things, and we have another partner with Extension called E-Extension or Extension Foundation, and it's a collaboration nationwide of different specialist, early childhood or maternal health specialists who come together, and they've written fact sheets, and they've put together videos and other information that we can go to that website and share with the public that can be used across. So we're utilizing funding better versus everyone doing their own research in their own state. And so we have mirror fact sheets. Instead, we work together so that the money can be stretched further to reach more people and help more. But yeah, there's a lot of good information on maternal health, and such an important need in our community when we know there's not always enough providers.
Mm-hmm. And so, Jill, if anybody listening is part of maybe a nonprofit agency or even a government entity, what's the best way to reach out and say, we've always wondered this, but don't know how to extrapolate such information?
Yeah, I would say give me a call. My number is 775-738-7291, or they can email. My email personally is Tingey, Tingey, J, so my last name and first initial, at UNR.edu. And we can, start a conversation and explore how we can help with that question they may have.
Well, that's fantastic. Thanks, Jill. And again, we've just been able to hear about some of the research that's already been conducted, that's been impactful, projects that might be already underway that will yet to be determined. So, yeah. How exciting.
Thank you.
So on to another topic that we know people really do associate with our UNR Extension, and they have for decades, and that's our beloved 4-H programs. And while you get started telling us about the need for volunteers, I'm going to run over and switch off the heater because it's creating some noise on our broadcast. I'll be right back. Okay.
No problem. Well, we are always in need of volunteers, and 4-H is a youth development program that's definitely known and loved here in Elko County. And we work with young people who are 5 years old to 19 years old. And volunteers are the heart of our program. Most of our young people in this county participate in clubs. That's not the only delivery method that we use, but clubs are big ways that young people can participate. And we always need leaders to either lead clubs or help with projects. Specifically, we have a huge need for a dog project leader. We have so many youth who love their pets and love their dogs, and would love to be able to learn more about how to train their dog and possibly show their dog, but really just learn all of those things about caring for their dog and training their dog. And we have a need for even someone who might be willing to share information and work with young people who are interested in reptiles. One of the things we just had our state 4-H expo a couple of months ago in Fallon, and one of the big shows or events of that larger event is our reptile show. Our small, it's within the small animal division, but like, kids with snakes and Komodo dragons and you name it. And there's just a huge interest of young people to do that. And so we'd love to find someone who'd even work with kids on that.
Well, that's great. Reptiles are important indicator species. We talk to Julie Gabrielson all the time from Endow, and they study reptiles here in the Elko County area.
That's right. Yeah.
So, super cool. We hope to get you some volunteers, those who love dogs and maybe reptiles.
And it's time to join 4-H. So if there's any families that are thinking, what can I get my kids into? 4-H might be that thing that young people really love to do. It's that idea that we want kids to identify their spark, figure out what they love and their interest and their passion is, what makes them get up in the morning because they get to do it, and be able to do that in 4-H. So really, there's so many opportunities in 4-H, and even if we don't have an active project right now, if there's someone who is willing to lead it, we can help them get it started.
And this is a good time as we go into winter months to start working on some projects that you can take off with in like the spring, for example, and there's plenty of outreach.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we focus more on the projects and we don't realize what we really offer our older kids. So coming up in March, right during the legislative session, we have our 4-H Capital Days, which is a statewide event that we hold in Carson City. Our young people get to meet with our representatives and our assembly people as well as our senators, and be able to share their ideas and then learn more about how state government works. Along with that leadership, we're really excited this year. We've not had this opportunity in, I don't know, probably 20 years or more, to have a 4-H teen camp that will be held at our state 4-H camp at Lake Tahoe. And this will be for kids 13 to 19 to learn more leadership, have a lot of fun at Tahoe, and be able to then, turn around and maybe volunteer at camp as a teen counselor or lead different projects when they come back from camp.
And this makes a difference in our local communities because these are teen focus groups. I mean, these are teens working on projects for other teens.
Yes, so it's really exciting. I think it really kind of came from a PACE Coalition meeting where people were talking about, we have teens who aren't interested in sports. They're not really interested in kind of what's already established. And we know that some of them are finding other things to do that may not be the healthiest for them or the healthiest for our community. And they might want to get involved, but they don't want to do kind of the traditional or the typical thing that a lot of other young people are doing. And so with that, a number of people got together, and I haven't been involved with the meetings, but our 4-H staff have. And so they will be having a planning meeting next week. And then their whole purpose is really to look for ways that teens can come up with ideas and activities for teens. And so they really want to find new things for young people to do as that idea that young people have, as they grow and develop, we know that teens need peer support. That is truly a social need that they have. They are social beings just like we all are, and that importance of connecting with other people their age is really important at that time in their lives. And so we need to be finding activities that they would love to do, that they can lead, that they can decide are their activities, and that they plan them and they run them. And certainly there's adults in the background supporting and making sure things are safe, but really it's being teen-led. So we're really excited to have that going on.
That's so nice of our local 4-H leaders, and we should give them a plug anytime we can, right, Brittany? And the group that, yes.
Yes, we love our staff in our office. Certainly we're so excited that Brittany's got so many different things going on. Brittany Marich is our coordinator, and then we also have a part-time person who we share with Eureka County, Tasha Kirby, and Tasha too is doing a lot of good things.
Yeah, and that really, again, being a collaborator with the community, because in the size of our community, we may not have all the resources, but library, I know that they were really astonished. They offered some teen activities, gel, and they said the teens just took over the library. There were Nerf gun fights in the stacks, and
fun.
Yes, exactly. So, as you said, it's all safe, and but teens, they need to socialize, they need to congregate, and they need to create.
That's right.
It might not be within the typical constraints of what's available in their school or sports, but what a great opportunity. So.
Yeah.
You can reach out to 4-H if you're interested in helping support this effort as well. So that brings us to Achievement Night for 4-H.
Yeah, we just held that about a month ago, and actually, no, not even a month ago, just 3 weeks ago. And it was exciting. We have 6 new county ambassadors. Those are our older 4-Hers who are out there. They help lead a lot of our county projects on this last year. They focused on working with our clover buds, our 5 to 8 year old youth, and they led a workshop teaching them how to show animals to prepare them for a little clover bud show that they plan and run. And then in the summer they did a clover bud day camp, and so for 4 hours they had all kinds of activities and kept 17 or so little clover buds really active, and it was a lot of fun to see that. And so they are very involved in all aspects of our 4-H program and do a lot of leadership, and so we're excited to have that many. We've only had a few lately, and so it's nice to have a larger group this year.
Yeah, certainly. With the new ambassadors and then the clover buds, that leads to future opportunities like scholarships.
Yeah, so in 4-H, we're able to offer scholarships. We've just had a great partnership with Cal Ranch, and they have supported us, and so we were able to actually kind of expand our scholarship offerings this year so that we could offer some livestock related scholarships to kids who had some livestock experience. So we had 3 recipients who received 4-H scholarships at our event, and so we're excited to be able to celebrate with them and recognize them also at their high school events.
Very nice. Talking with Jill Tingey from our UNR Extension. We're talking about 4-H right now, and obviously livestock is an important part of that, but even more so, I think it's fair to say that 4-H has probably inspired a lot of students to go on and to include the study of science or veterinary science, for example, because of activities like we're going to talk about right now.
Yeah, I think that probably is maybe people would say would be pretty traditional about our 4-H program, but I think that's something that maybe sets 4-H apart too, is the different learning opportunities that young people have in relation to animal science.
And they think they're having fun, right? And they're learning.
They are having fun.
Exactly. I mean, they're like, this is science, but it's fun.
They're amazing to me. We've got... in January, we'll be doing a livestock skillathon and quiz bowl contest. And leading up to that, we're offering some workshops. But when they're doing those things, they're working with these big plastic models that are the size of a pig. We've got some pictures from Achievement Night of them working on this big plastic pig and doing different things to this model it's related to veterinary science and nutrition and just the overall care of animals. And we have them for a variety of species. And so it's just really amazing to watch the opportunities. Another great thing that Elko Veterinary Clinic has been offering in the last year is they've been offering an opportunity for kids to go shadow the vets. And so they'll say, okay, here's our 2 or 10, however many times they have space available. The kids can sign up, and then they just go over there to Elko Vet Clinic and they follow that vet around for a couple of hours in the afternoon, and they are learning so much, and the kids really are getting a lot out of that.
Oh yeah, it really make it or break it when you decide. You can say, this is what I want to do, or you might say, well, maybe not this, but that, right?
Right.
So
that's
yes.
right. Yeah. So we just have so many different workshops, but I think that's the great thing is that we really focus on the education. Of course, we want to encourage young people to take a project and see it all the way through and possibly go to the fair. And if they have the opportunity to sell an animal, there's nothing wrong with that as well. But really, we focus on the education, and you can really tell the difference of those kids who've been attending a variety of workshops and things in their knowledge about their project, and then where they're heading after high school.
Yeah, it's so nice to have that focus. I've had the pleasure of interviewing so many many of the students that you're describing, Jill, and just how much more confident and focused and relaxed they are about the future because they're already on their way.
Yeah.
So very cool. And so with that in mind, you've got a goat workshop coming up next month.
Yeah, that's a big project in 4-H, and we have a lot of youth who love their goats. So we do try to offer a variety of educational things on different species. And then we have horse workshops coming to our horse project has really taken off. Tasha, our 4-H staff person, she's really been leading that with the idea that eventually we'll have a volunteer take it over. But she's kind of been heading up the classroom work that they're doing now that it's cold and it's not very much fun to get out and ride as much, but they were doing a lot of riding this summer and fall. And then when the weather isn't so great to even meet together in person, she'll do some virtual workshops. And every week she does a Kahoot. And a Kahoot is it's an internet-based it's a game format of a usually multiple choice, but it could be true, false too. But it's kind of a way to test your knowledge about different things. And she does on a variety of things, just general 4-H or the horse specifically, or other projects in 4-H. And it's a lot of great fun for kids to participate in that.
Sounds like a hoot to play the Kahoot.
It is fun, a hoot to play Kahoot.
That's great. Oh my gosh. So that kind of wraps up that topic, although 4-H is always evolving and growing and changing to meet the needs of our communities, large and small. It's been an important staple in Elko County for generations. So thank you for bringing us that. And then new things on the horizon, our new SNAP education coordinator. And I love her anyway. She's fantastic, but what a perfect person. She's got a great personality, and to help people understand how to put together the food that they can buy, right?
That is right. Yeah. So we've just hired Sienna Parker, and she's working with our SNAP education program. So SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And then the ed is where Extension comes in and provides the education. So we don't have anything to do with who's eligible and who receives SNAP benefits, but we provide programming for those who are eligible so that they can learn more about how to stretch their SNAP dollars. Primarily in Elko County, it's been identified that really we need to be working with our youth, and what kind of healthy nutrition and physical activity education can we provide specifically school-age kids. And so Sienna is working on, we have one project that's called Go Wild, another one that's called Pick a Better Snack. The great thing is they are you get a taste of whatever the highlighted fruit or vegetable is, and they learn about the vitamins in it and why it would be important to add that into their diet. And then, ideas of how to talk to their parents about going grocery shopping and maybe shopping with them and encouraging their parents to maybe try something that they usually don't have in their plates at home. So we'd like to work within the schools as much as possible, but Sienna's also really open to coming and doing a one-time workshop with a group of kids, just to kind of let people know more about how fun and how hands-on the activities are.
That is fantastic, and I can just see Sienna doing that because, again, the kitchen is such a social place, whether you're making a charcuterie board or because my daughter sent me the funniest video of the new thing was what to do with hard-boiled eggs and charcuterie. You could create all these things. And so they can create their own little videos while they're doing it. So to make preparing food a fun social activity, at the same time, you're not just running through the drive-through. You're actually grocery shopping, planning,
right,
preparing, and stretching your dollar and prolonging your life, hopefully.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's all part of it. And right now, looking at our SNAP eligible schools and communities, it is in Elko. We actually have 3 elementary schools that are within the city of Elko, and then also Carlin and Oahe. So once the weather's a little bit better, she'll get on the road and be heading up to Oahe working with our families up there. Oh,
that's great news. Well, thank you for reminding us again that that's just another wonderful outreach of our local UNR Extension. And as always, talking about radon, We've heard some stories. Utah, just at ksl.com, there's a story about a woman, a young mother. She died of lung cancer. She got cancer from radon gas from their family home. And so her husband has been going on this mission to educate people about this, Jill. It was so tragic.
Yeah, it really is. And it's preventable. That's the great thing, is that, I'm so sorry to hear that, because I can't imagine what they are going through. And then to find out that, it may not have taken that much money to fix our house to mitigate the radon that was there. So radon, for those of you who don't remember my big spiel on it, is that it's an odorless, colorless gas, and it comes from the soil. And so one home could have a radon problem, and another home would not have the same level of radon. And so as it's going to come up through a basement or from the floor, from the ground into your home. And it's a very simple way to decide whether you have a radon concern in your home. And that is to test with a simple test kit that you can come and get at our office for free. And both January and February are our national radon months where we really focus on that. But winter is the best time to test your home, and we can explain how to test and what you need to do. But truly, it's simple, and the kit is free, and then if you receive the results directly from the lab, and if they're higher, it tells you that in the results, and then it tells you where to go, and then you can come back to the extension office. We've got a lot of things, and then there is at least one mitigator or vendor who can, that's not the right word, contractor who can come in and help fix your home so that you have more air coming in, so that you don't have such a high concentration of radon gas in your home.
Yeah, and it is totally fixable and preventable.
Yeah.
That's the important thing to note. And so those radon kits are free, available from our extension office. And just in closing on that, people might be surprised to know that we had several homes, right, in the area.
Oh, yeah. We have quite a few homes that have tested high. Yeah, and, even the courthouse, about a decade ago, tested in the basement, and it was really high. And so at the time, we didn't have a local contractor who was certified to mitigate for radon. And so they brought someone out from Reno who was certified, and he was great. He did it during the weekends so that it didn't disrupt any county work during the week, and they were able to fix that. And, it was worth it.
We're sure it's saved lives.
Yeah.
So definitely, because we know this is proven. Well, thank you for the update on that. And speaking of update, we'll just kind of go quickly over, I know that the Cattlemen's update is coming.
It's coming in January. Yeah. It's always the first week in January, usually the first Thursday. I think actually probably the second week in January. On that first Thursday, they'll be here in Elko. And so that's a great opportunity for ranchers to gather, connect with one another, but also learn what's happening, what is the research saying on cattle, on forage and nutrition for animals and all of that. So.
Yeah, latest on meat packing. There's plenty of discussion in the hallways. It's right before cowboy poetry. So it's a great mood. And I always look forward to the Cattlemen's up. I mean, you learn some really cool things. You don't have to be in the industry.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
And then Master Gardener, that's neat.
Yeah, so we have one Master Gardener. Amber Huff is our Master Gardener. We have another person who's applied. So yay, we have doubled our numbers. So we're really excited, and they're looking forward to coming to different organizations and providing education, talking about gardening. So if you have a group or a group of friends that just really wants to know more, let us know. We'll be glad to encourage our Master Gardeners. We have lots of gardening classes in addition, but they could come and do some things in person too.
Well, and then your new session of Heart and Hope will begin in the new year.
We're in the middle of a session right now. Well, we're towards the end actually, but we'll start a new session again in February. And so any families who've been affected by domestic violence, we would love to encourage them, if they want to strengthen their families, to consider coming to Heart and Hope.
Jill, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Again, doing so much for the community. We had a long list today, but that just means you'll have to come back. So we'll have some friends come back from the office, okay?
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us for another edition of our radio show, Elko Live, here on KELK. Today's guest, Jill Tingey from the UNR Extension.